I hope this time is the lucky number 3. Hope it works. Let's see if everything is live. I hope technology will not fail us anymore. It's important not to fail us. Good. Let's start again with where we left off. It was not so deep in the story. So today, first day, back to CEO status, back to work. We are very committed. Good thing is that I managed to convince some of my team members, the more important ones, to continue the journey together with me. They returned today, although most of them have found other commitments, or they were promising to go to other commitments due to the disaster generated by the trustee in the last 59 days. We are looking at diverse solutions for recovering the position of shape. The more important aspect is that Iris is still on. We had good discussion with them today. Cannot update too much on how it will go, but by Friday you will have a final update on that. We really hope that this will be working. It depends a lot on the situation with Nasdaq. As you have seen, we have had a discussion this morning with Nasdaq, and basically we depend on the registration of my position and Aurel's position back. So the reversal of the bankruptcy, something that unfortunately was the job of the curator, trustee. The trustee is refusing to cooperate with us. They didn't reply. They didn't do anything. They're not picking up the phone. They only talk to our lawyer from TVC after we have forced them to do that, but we'll get to that point later. Second aspect, very important to all of us, is the fact that the Bechtle deal, so the Polish contract, is still something we hope we can do. It was, although they tried to destroy it, the trustee through Sanaco's bankruptcy, we'll get to the point at some in one of our daily briefs, and you will understand the nature of, let's say, wrongdoings, let's call it mildly, that happened there. So Sanaco had a 40 million euros contract. That contract was sabotaged by trustee and some employees from Sanaco. We'll get to the bottom of that. We have started discussing with the trustee of Sanaco right now. As you know, it's bankrupt. I don't know why. And we're recovering every email, every discussion, everything that was generating this kind of situation for Sanaco. And of course, we hope that to reverse everything in due time. In the meantime, on Friday, we have a discussion with Bechtle. Like I said, that there is a good possibility that we can continue this project, as the company is now not bankrupt. Bechtle won the tender. Bechtle requires a partner, and we are the partner at this moment. Now, very important is to understand what is our legal status. Legally, we are back to before bankruptcy. Of course, the bankruptcy court has decided to send for re-judgment the bankruptcy claims. As you all know, the bankruptcy claims have not been correctly served to Shape's team, to the people that really matter in this position. Of course, we expect now it to be correctly served. And should it be correctly served, at that time it's quite easy. We were not bankrupt. We had a line of credit, we had agreements to settle and to do everything in the right way. So from my perspective and our legal team perspective, the company is not bankrupt. Was never bankrupt and should have never become bankrupt if it was not the intervention of a very famous lawyer that is also the trustee of Shape. Okay, so that lawyer, I don't know how it became the trustee of Shape, or I don't know if that is legal. I would tell you that Romania, Poland, Finland, this cannot happen. You cannot have a trustee, the same lawyer that represents Danske Bank. So let's get to exactly the point where we need to discuss today. Today, we're just going to look at very important piece of evidence, which is the letter that was sent by to the creditors by Kroman and Reumert somewhere at the end of January. Of course, the attorney ties, case file, so on and so forth. Very important. This is the letter that basically shook the foundation of uh, most of our investor shareholders, because it shows that we had in account 73 crowns. Well, this is what they want to show. The reality is that they had no access to the company's accounts, because as you have seen in this letter, this creditor's letter, they could not even get access to the company's accounts, because Danish bankruptcy law is not automatically recognized in other countries. So the first thing that this lawyer house should have done is to recognize their position outside Denmark. And if they try to do that, they would find out something very important. Nobody would have accepted, no court of justice outside Denmark would have accepted their recognition without having a definitive solution for the bankruptcy. So they had not a definitive solution, it was appealed. And they knew that the appeal was valid, and they thought that they will not reverse the decision. So now we need to find out exactly day by day what this trustee has done. 59 days, day by day, we requested every day, every email, every creditor meeting, so we can know how to save the company. And for that reason, we have to look again at what they said. Zero recoveries, zero money in account, zero inventory, zero subsidiary value, zero, zero, but something pops up here. Something very important, which is this part. And I will read it so everybody can understand. I hope I'm not talking to myself. Somebody should at least give me some sort of a WhatsApp or something that it's working. I'm asking. If it's not working, I will send the recording, and that's it. So, repayment of an installment. Prior to the bankruptcy on the 28th of November 2025, the company has made a payment of 3.7 million Danish crowns to Danske Bank and AIFO as part of an agreement arrangement with these creditors. This installment has been returned to the company as a non-restricted asset and therefore included at face value. This money was paid out based on an agreement that we had with Danske Bank that was represented by the same lawyer house, in which the company was going to pay every month in installments an amount of money in equivalent of 3.7 million crowns. But pay attention, with the condition that Danske Bank, through its lawyers, Kronman, Reumert, will withdraw their bankruptcy claims. On the 5th of January, there was a court date. In that court date, Kronman, Reumert, without having any delays in their payment, without having any sort of legal, let's say, background to do this, they have joined the bankruptcy claim and they have become the trustee based on their bankruptcy claim. And I will show you something very important. In the court decision, in the court meeting where Shape Robotics has been declared bankrupt, I'm just finding that. You can see here, let me share the screen, that the lawyer, Thijs Gulwitz Wormslev, yes, admits that they are participating into the bankruptcy, they are joining the bankruptcy, and the 3.7 million crowns approximately will be returned from their account. Pay attention, not Danske Bank, not AIFO, their account. Should the bankruptcy be declared, it will be returned and it will become available for the asset, for the estate. They wrote this. So right now the company should have 3.7 million back in the estate. And the agreement between us and Danske, it was voided and annulled by the fact that they participated in the bankruptcy of Shape, so they would not withdraw their claim. They had no right to be there. Okay? So everything is documented, everything will be presented. as attachment to this video. Now, we claim today that this money has to be returned to our lawyer's account, and the trustee refuses to return the money to the lawyer's account, to our lawyer's account, claiming that the balance, and I will read what they're saying. One second, just to make sure that I'm not sharing some sort of personal information on our lawyer. This is an email from Taste to our lawyer stating, as you might be aware, the balance in the former bankruptcy estate consists mainly of an amount of 3.7 million crowns, blah, blah. The amount originates from an installment that Shape Robotics has paid to the bank shortly before the bankruptcy according to an installment agreement either by between AIFO and I have today received a request from Danske Bank stating that the amount must now be returned to them as a result of the annual bankruptcy decree. Very important. This was never in their account. This money has not come from Danske account. It was, as stated before, in the account of Kronman Reumert. Since there is an uncertainty as who is rightfully recipient of this amount, I will release myself by depositing in accordance with the Deposit Act, including a clause stating that the amount can only be released when it has been finally decided by judgment, settlement, or in any other binding matter whether the amount belongs to Shape or Danske. They wrote clearly that it belongs to Shape, so let's go back to what they have written and make sure that everybody understands that this belongs to Shape. Okay? So, the amount, let me just open the file. It's creditor information number 2, not something that we wrote. It says here clearly, go back to this. Non-restricted asset at face value. Now, what is very interesting in all of this back and forward discussion right now is that I don't know what the lawyers and the trustee is hiding, but to be honest with you, they play a very weird game. So first of all, they had the obligation to restore the CVR to the current owners. Why I'm saying this, because pay attention, everybody has to understand we are going against time. We have a very limited time till the rejudgment of the initial bankruptcy claim. So 2-6 weeks maybe. In this time, we have to have a plan to, of course, raise capital, reinstate the EGM, go back to the plan, try to save the company from this onslaught. By the trustee not giving us papers, not giving access to our money, not allowing us to even have opposable rights in terms of the registration in the CVR, the company still appears under concourse, under bankruptcy. 2 days later, it takes 20 minutes to replace this. We are in jeopardy, and I believe that the role played by Kronman Neumert is very toxic because right now they have a huge conflict of interest. They represent Danske Bank. They have been the trustee. They are the ones that said there is no value in the company. And they are the ones that are not allowing us to save the company now. So I will update you every day on this direction. But right now we are already looking at claims against the trustee. This is not correct how it has been handled. They are withholding funds right now, funds that are Shape Robotics funds that we need to litigate and to win. We have officially filed for ball negligence claim, like I've already said on LinkedIn, because it's clear that there is a negligence related to several factors. The latest one was related to the fact that the company went bankrupt because a board member didn't communicate what they have received, so we can defend ourselves. And I repeat myself, the company was never bankrupt at that point. We had a line of credit from our esteemed chairman, Mr. Netzin, that was €500,000. 40,000 euros was spent out of that line of credit. We could have paid everybody. It was a contingency line of credit exactly for this situation. Should we wanted to pay, we would have paid. The idea behind this bankruptcy came, or the background of this bankruptcy came from the fact that Kronman Reumert, so the same trustee that you see here today, that is not anymore the trustee and that refuses to give us the information to the company, because for sure we will find out and we'll make public every piece of wrongdoing that they have done, has controlled the bankruptcy from day one by generating it themselves due to the release of the funds, to the blockage of the funds, and then re-releasing them based on our settlement. So in conclusion, very simple. The same trustee is the same lawyer that we signed the settlement with Danske Bank. The settlement was void and nulled by the fact that Danske Bank, through its lawyer Kronman Reumert, have went into bankruptcy court and asked for bankruptcy when they could not ask for bankruptcy. They admitted that by returning the money to the estate. The money was in the account of Kronman Reumert, so it just moved from escrow account that was related to Danske Bank and moved to the estate's escrow account. Now it belongs to the estate escrow account, which basically belongs to us, and they refuse to pay it. This is something that will most likely explode in the next days, and I guarantee you that we will fight for every piece of penny and everything that they've done, and we will expose every aspect of their, I don't know, negligence. Let's call it negligence. Okay. So in conclusion, let's see if anybody has any kind of comments, because this is the update for today, where, as you can see, we are working 24/7 almost. Let's see. I need to see some comments here. So for people that are connected, at least drop some comments to know who you are, not to have an empty screen here. Let's wait a little bit. Maybe somebody will ask me some questions. I don't know. If not, I'm just going to answer those questions at a later stage. Anybody? A question? 2 questions? Let's see. Maybe I don't see those in the directory stream. Let's see if I see them on my website. Okay. Good. So nobody? Questions? For that, I call it a day. I need to work a little bit more on the plan for tomorrow. See you tomorrow, the same time, same hour. Hopefully no technical issues. Apologize for them. It's just that I have to do this very fast, and sometimes technology is not perfect. I wish you all a good evening and keep in touch.